It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Yes, we are all inside a patch. That's what we're doing together. We're inside a patch because we're here to talk about the Raiders. And we're bringing in Brian Noe, who knows a lot about football and knows a lot about patches. And patches were big in the 70s, but this is Inside the Patch. Brian Noe, welcome to the show.
So, were you just insanely mad about the Raiders last week and just yelled and yelled and yelled some more until your voice went out?
You would think that's what it is, but I actually was pretty calm through it. I mean, I don't have high expectations right now. So I let my fellow fans yell at the owner for me. You know, I let them handle that. I just sit back.
So was it the dog that acted up? What happened?
It's a little bit of a cold thing, you know? And so I actually feel pretty good today. I don't sound it. I feel great. So mentally I'm there. I have had some trouble with the internet this week though, because there are a few things I learned. One, that we should be washing our bananas and avocados. It makes no sense to me. They're saying something we need to consider doing. Bothering me. Two, Richard Sherman thinks we should get rid of Max Crosby. That's bothering me.
Ooh.
He feels like his point is Max is wasting his time in Vegas and we should try to get something for him. But then in good news, Davante Adams says he wants to be a Raider for a while. So,
does that mean until week 6?
I think so. I don't know what a while is. I don't know for a while. I'm not sure what that is.
I'm thinking either week 6 or week 7. I'm not quite sure what his definition of a while is.
So when is the trade deadline? It's week 8 about, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, right around there, yeah.
And that means no more trades? You got what you got. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
Yeah. Unless a player's released or something like that, but no trades.
Yeah, maybe he's doing that reverse psychology thing. You know?
Right. Yeah, he's... Yeah, you know, it's funny. I'm trying to think of if you want to break up with someone, have you ever played that card?
Oh, yeah.
Does it work like that? Where if you're like, no, don't leave. And they're like, you know what? I think I'm going to leave. And you're like, all right. Yeah. Does it ever work like that?
I don't know. It's now there's a form of ghosting where you just ignore them. Yeah. And now there's the anti-ghosting, which is just when you just break up normal. But that's called anti-ghosting.
Anti-ghosting.
Yeah, that's where you just
being direct.
Direct, break up, and there it is. Now, zombie is when you ghost someone, and then you try to go back to the well later on. That's zombieing.
Wait, I got to get all this down. So
yeah.
You said zombie is you ghost someone, and then you're back.
And then you try to come back after you ghosted them, right?
Okay.
That's zombie. Now, and it's usually you probably need something like maybe they got a friend of yours that you need their phone number or something, and you got to crawl back in and go, hey.
All right.
And they go, hey, stranger.
Hey. And you
died.
Just try to ignore that you ghosted them?
Yeah, and
so where is Davante? What is he going zombie?
I'm not sure. I think Davante is saying it because there's no benefit in really saying I want to be traded. But the word trade and this being said, he's just acting like he's not saying it. But
so what is that? Okay, in a relationship, what is no, things are great and you're unhappy. Because I can't imagine Davante is incredibly happy right now.
Right.
But he's saying, I want to be here for a while. Like, if that isn't true, what would that term be in the dating world?
Yeah, well, I would think, it's almost like you're it's not ghosting. You're like, it's like I care about your feelings more than me. You know what? You could do so much better, you know? But I don't know. I just know his old girlfriend's coming to town this week. We're going to be playing the Green Bay Packers. And he just happened to say this now. So maybe he wants his old girlfriend to feel like he wants to be with this new one, even though he probably doesn't want to. I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
I'm trying to think of the right animal or the right species. Yeah, for that term.
In the lion world, if you want to mate with another lion, if she's got cubs, you got to kill the cubs because she won't mate.
Oh, wow.
Now that's taking it to a little darker thing.
Yeah, it's definitely darker.
Darker.
Yeah.
I don't think Devontae wants to have Green Bay come to town and make him think that he wishes he was back with Green Bay, even though he probably does. But he doesn't want to act like that.
Right. Yeah, well, that's true. Okay, now I like where you're going with this.
Yeah,
okay?
so maybe.
So let's say that you split up with your partner, got a new partner. And you're unhappy.
But you don't want her
But you bump into your old partner.
Yep.
You don't want to make it sound like, it's not doing it for me.
We talked about this last week. It's the girlfriend or boyfriend effect when you're more desirable when you're with someone.
Yeah.
Right? And so maybe that's it. Maybe he wants to make himself a little more desirable. I think
we cracked the code here, Gnarls. I think you led us to the right destination. This is putting on a fake smile.
Yes.
I'm so happy. It's unbelievable. I can't even begin to tell you. And you're like, no, it's not as good as.
Look how much I love her. My home runner. She's so great.
Yeah.
Although the media.
My new girl, the Raiders. Oh my gosh, unbelievable. Let me tell you, 1-3. But did you see how many targets I got against the Steelers? Did you see that? I mean, things are good. And you're like, yeah, you'd rather be back. We know that.
I have a feeling the Taco Bell in his house is going to give out lots of extra cheese this week. I think he's going to have to just to get it. He's got to move on and he can't.
So I have a brief Taco Bell story for you if you would like to hear it.
I would love to hear it.
Okay. So I was working in Portland. All right. So I go to the Taco Bell and I order probably like 3 crunchy tacos and some nachos and cheese. That's typically what I get. Regular Mountain Dew. That's normally my order. So I go up there. It's about $9, a little less than that. And the guy at the drive-thru says, "Oh, the person in front of you paid for your order." And so I'm like, "Oh, beautiful." So in my head, I'm like, "Free tacos. This is awesome." Perfect. And then I made the mistake of asking him something. I don't know what I asked him. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, like the last 7 or 8 cars have been doing it. They just pay for the car behind them." And I go, "Oh, well, that's cool." But in my head, I'm thinking, wait, this was free. And now I got to pay for the guy behind me?
So nothing
And I
was
basically
free.
just drove off. I just drove off and I'm like, I was sold on free tacos. I drive off and I immediately regretted it. I'm like, I messed up the chain. I should have paid for the person behind me.
No,
so
but
the next time I go to Taco Bell, Gnarly, I look, I'm like, I got to make good on this. I look in my rearview mirror. It's one dude. It's just one guy. I'm like, perfect. It's going to be an order like mine. It's going to be about $9 or something.
Right.
I say to the drive-through person, I'm like, "Hey, I want to pay for the guy behind me." And they go, "Yeah, are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I forget what it was, but he's like, "Yeah, that's going to be $27.15 or something." That's just one guy.
Buy for the whole office.
Yeah.
well, that's forced anyway. I hate when they pay it forward or whatever. The only person that wins is the one that breaks the chain. That's the only one. Everybody else is paying for something.
But that's the thing. If you can live with extreme guilt, then you're coming out ahead financially.
Right. Well, the problem is it's really the guy that's the drive-through maitre d' or whatever he is. What do you call him? The person. He's the only one really making this game happen and making everybody feel good about it. He's running the scam. He's doing it. Taco Bell gets money. No one lost money here. And he's trying to make you feel better. Hey, man, I got free tacos, but then I didn't. But it felt so nice.
You know, it's a little like you, if I think about your country radio days.
Yeah.
and people would call you up. Hey, Gnarls, I want to hear so-and-so. All right, we'll get that right on for you. And you didn't. You know what I mean? Like, you just wanted to see how it would go. And maybe the drive-through guy is the same way. I don't know. He's just playing the game. Well,
it's funny you say that because my first job ever was drive-through at Taco Bell. So it's just funny that you say that. Maybe that's where I learned the whole thing. Maybe that's where it came from.
Did you play those games ever? Like, oh, yeah, the last 7 cars have paid for the car behind them.
It didn't exist. That's a new thing. That's a millennial thing. No one did that. I only played the game where if you treated me bad, I might have leaned on top of your crunched tacos. I might.
You know what? I shouldn't even tell you this story, Gnarly. But
I want to hear
this again proves how I am not a Rhodes Scholar. So my first real job was Burger King.
Nice.
And so one person ordered 2 bottom buns. I'm like, 2 bottom buns? Why would you? So I just took the sandwich and I just put an extra bottom bun on the bottom. And then a coworker said to me, he's like, yeah, some idiot gave this guy 2 bottom buns. And I'm like, oh, yeah? And he's like, yeah. Some people are allergic to the sesame seeds. So you take off the top bun and put another bottom bun. And I'm like, oh, yeah. What a stupid mistake that was.
You might have killed somebody. You might have some blood on your hands. I hope not. I don't think so. But
it makes sense once I understood what the goal was. But I just was so literal. I'm like, you want 2 bottom buns? All right, man, here's another one. It's on the house. Knock yourself out.
Have it your way. Have it your way.
That's right.
Oh. All right. So speaking of bottom buns, we're pretty much the bottom of the AFC West, you know. Although Denver is really holding down the fort below us.
They are, and the Raiders have the head-to-head win.
Yeah.
So, not in the basement.
Well, so I think we're third in line for the Chandler Williams draft is what I think right now. You know, we'd have to really tank it out. But
if Caleb Williams shuns you guys.
Yeah.
Oof. Oh, man.
I don't think that's going to happen. What do you feel like? Have you seen the internet where the guys are right in front of Mark Davis and they're just running their mouths? They're like, Mark's got the open suite at SoFi, and this guy is right in front of him just saying, fire, F-bomb this, F-bomb that, get rid of McDaniels. And Mark's biggest mistake was he acknowledged it. At one point he goes, use your head. I'm like, really? That's your answer? Use your head.
That's what Mark Davis said to the fan who's just going crazy.
But the fan is, I mean, the fan was below, but there was security that ready to pounce on the fan. But the fan was just fed up. You know, he goes, there he is. I'm going over there. And he just gave it to him.
And that's what Mark Davis said. Use your head.
Right. I don't
know if that makes less sense than remember when Warren Sapp was approached by head coach Mike Sherman. It was the old Warren Sapp was still with Tampa. Mm-hmm. There was some sort of turnover, and he blindside blocks, I think, Chad Clifton. And Clifton got hurt. So after the game, Mike Sherman goes up to Warren Sapp, and he's like, that was a dirty play. What the hell? That sort of thing. And Warren Sapp said, put a jersey on. Put a jersey on. Which made absolutely no sense to me at all. Did what Mark Davis said make less sense than Warren Sapp?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it did.
Well, the whole thing is, you know, the Patriot way, you know, he really bought into this whole thing. But I think Mark Davis bought into Tom Brady's going to play for him, is what I think it was. Because Josh McDaniels, without Tom Brady, doesn't have anything. if in his records. No Tom Brady, no genius.
Well, hey, man, Belichick is looking less successful by the game without Brady.
Right. I mean, and it becomes your legacy. And then, remember, Belichick was the genius of all geniuses. But the beginning, he was not, and then he became that. Is he going to tarnish his legacy if he stays in there?
Well, if it keeps going the way it is, yeah. He's got to win some games without Brady, man. Like, he's sub 500. And I mean, since Brady, he was, I think, 25-25 coming into this year without Brady. So my math is right. He's what, 26-28? I think in that ballpark.
Wow.
Without Brady.
Does he lose his job if he goes under 500?
No, but I wonder, Belichick is such a, and I mean this in a complimentary way, he's such a football geek. He has a lot of respect for the history of the game. And I don't know if he would stick around and win an average of 7-8 games each year to then surpass Don Shula. I don't know that he would do that if he's not doing better than that each year.
Boy, Edelman sure has great stories about Belichick. I mean, just Google Edelman, Belichick stories. And I guess Edelman used to wear red gloves, and he got caught holding. He goes, well, you got damn red gloves on. I can see it from over here. So they're saying now, whatever team you're playing, you wear that color gloves. If you're playing the Eagles, you wear green gloves. So they can't see the hold, you know.
Edelman does a pretty good Belichick impression, too.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah. The whole thing's awesome. So getting back to our Las Vegas Raiders, I don't think, because if we're using our head, he's going to make a move during the middle of the season. I don't see how that helps. I don't see how, if it's his complicated system. So now you get rid of that guy. And what are we going to run now? Let's learn a whole new system mid-season.
Well, the real question is, did you think of anything positive to say about Josh McDaniels?
I did. And then it went away real quick at the press conference. I thought he was letting Aiden O'Connell throw a little bit, and he was calling good plays for him. But then he threw the kid under the bus at the press conference. And I was like, the last thing Aiden O'Connell needs is to be blamed in a game that he clearly made some mistakes. He clearly wasn't protected. And it's a little on you too, you know? Where that's your time to find the 4 good things he did and say that.
Mm.
And so I was ready to almost compliment him on, you know, not punching Nate in the face, you know, when they're talking. But then when he flipped the script during the thing, I was like, dude, you had a great opportunity to give that kid some confidence. You know, not his first pro game.
I just don't know what the Raiders were doing, allowing 6 sacks to Khalil Mack by himself.
Yeah. How
does that happen? How do you not double that guy, chip that guy, use a tight end? What are you doing? How does that happen? How does one guy just wreck you over and over again?
Well, first off, Khalil's a Derek Carr fan. A Raider, he got traded by the Raiders, so he's not happy with them. And I bet he was just fueled by the whole thing. The whole thing was just like, I'm going to get them guys. You did my boy wrong. You did. And then you put another number 4 back there. I'm going after him. I just have to feel like there's something there.
I agree with you. But again, I don't care if he despises the Raiders.
Right.
Put 2 guys on him, and he's not at least going to get to 6 sacks. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the coach said there were like, people were missing their blocks. It was supposed to be double teamed. But then when they reviewed the tape, only twice was he double teamed. Mm. Only twice. So you could say that, but that's not what the film says.
Right.
Unless everybody just didn't get the memo. I mean, I think Genius Josh could have handled the end of the game with Aiden a lot better, I think. But I also know he's seeing Fire McDaniels everywhere. It's got to affect him.
Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach.
Yeah.
We need to get that guy to a meeting. The degenerate gambling of Brandon Staley. Again, where they're at their own, I don't know what yard line it was, somewhere around the 25 or so. And they're like, we need a yard. Let's go for it again. This is blown up in our face this season. The same situation, but we're due. We're going to get this. And they don't. And the Raiders are set up in great field position with a chance to tie it or score and try to take the lead. I don't get Staley, man. He's reckless.
Well, it's like those guys that play roulette, and it's like black or red. They're like, oh no, black is due. Black is due. It's happening, and they just keep going. Feed the machine. It's got to come up. It's got to come up. Nope. You lose.
I think Staley goes to the roulette table and is like, put it all on 00.
The green.
And the whole table looks at him like, what? Why would you? No, do it. Just do it. You realize the payout? Just do it.
32 times.
It's like
32 times.
It's not a good idea, Brandon, at all.
Well, and when you think of old bread, you think of Staley. This bread is Staley. I don't know if that works. He's basically, I'm going to call him the crouton from now on. He's just a crouton.
It's a good thing that they won that game, because if they didn't win, oh my gosh, that guy's been getting crushed regardless. But if they lost on top of that with another huge gamble that didn't pan out, oh my goodness. But, they're lucky they won.
We got first down on the 3, and there's 2 minutes left. And he rolls everyone to the right, which takes away half or more of the field, crowds it, and then he chucks the pass. It's like, why don't you hand off to Jacobs? Why aren't we? It's like Marshawn Lynch losing the Super Bowl. Come on now. We have the guy. Run it.
I hear you. I just had a vision of Aiden O'Connell's mustache in my head. Now, here's my stance on it, Gnarly.
Yeah.
Some dudes wear it just as a joke,
Right.
Travis Kelce has clearly got the stash as a joke, and Aaron Rodgers does that. And with Aiden O'Connell, that's not the takeaway. That's not what I'm getting from that look. I'm getting, he thinks, I'm going to roll with this, I'm going to go buzz haircut and weird mustache, and this is just what I'm rocking. It doesn't seem like it's meant to be funny at all. It seems to be like, this is just his current look. It's bad.
He is down with it. I think he looks at it and goes, it's a mustache, and that's what I want. It's not a very good one.
It's a hideous one. And maybe he is doing it as a joke, but it doesn't feel like it. Do you agree with me on that? Does it feel the same way to you?
Yeah, I feel like he thinks it's good. I had a mustache similar to that when I was 24. I got a job in the Bahamas, and I didn't know it was cheesy and dumb until some guy goes, hey, man, you look like you sell TVs in Chicago. I go, what? And I go, what? And I go, you're right. Shaved it off that day. I just needed to hear it. I just needed someone to tell me.
That was the look of a guy that sells TVs in Chicago. Really?
And for me, I'm thinking, this is good looking. And the guy's like, bro, you sell TVs in Chicago. And I probably with a members only jacket on, and it's like, this gotta go. Gotta go.
That's a very specific description.
Yeah. Well,
very specific.
Somebody says his mustache looks like the missing piece in Mark Davis's hairdo right there. You can fit it right there.
It's bad. It's like sort of like a peach fuzz mustache.
It looks drawn in.
It's not a good look, man.
No.
I think he's got to get rid of that or go full beard.
I'm trying to buy beer. I want to buy beer. I better grow something. I better push that out. See if that works.
I think that's the thing where, now that I think about it, Travis Kelce, strong mustache. It's a weird look, but I think he's just doing it as an attention getter. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers, attention getter, just being a little silly. Yeah. But it's a manly mustache. Like, it's fully in there.
Right.
O'Connell's isn't.
It's 14-year-old boy. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's exactly right. See, I like that better than you look like you're selling TVs in Chicago.
Yeah. You're right, though. Yeah, I think you're onto something. All right, so Green Bay is favored by 7 or 6.5, I think, coming into Vegas.
No, what are you talking about? You're crazy. It's like
they're favored. Green Bay.
They're favored by 1.
Is it 1?
Not favored by 6 or what are you talking about?
Dude, my mustache got in the way. I couldn't see great. All right, but they're still favored. By 1 slice of cheese. Is that what you're saying?
Have you been there?
Yeah.
Have you been to Allegiant?
I haven't been for a game. I took the tour. So, and I recommend you do it. It's pretty cool.
Is that like saying I haven't been with Dua Lipa, but I'm trying to think of something not creepy. I'm not trying to be creepy, but I took a tour of the house. And
I didn't see the movie Jaws, but I went to Universal Studios and I took the tour and saw the Jaws thing. It's kind of like that, maybe.
Yeah. I haven't met Dua Lipa, but I took a tour of her home.
Yeah.
It's like, huh.
I went to her museum in her hometown. Could be.
I was able to take a bath. She wasn't there, but it was sort of cool.
Well, she has bathed in that before.
You got to go to a game. You can't just take a tour, man. What's that?
I was supposed to go to a game this year, but now I don't want to. So, I mean, I'm saving for next year.
I think before it gets really out of hand, you might have to red-eye it for this Monday night game.
I'm thinking about it too, but it's going to be all green and yellow. There'll be no black.
So annoying, isn't it?
But I think that's part of the deal. It's always going to be that way.
That's annoying.
It's a destination. It is a destination away game every home game.
It is, but man, there's just something that feels so wrong about that.
I know. I know.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
And the fans are getting vocal. Remember the guy that got kicked out last year for having a sign "Fire McDaniels," and they kicked him out. That's what's happening. I think the people, the nation is getting restless, and one of these idiots might Tupac him. Who knows? I mean, some guy will go to jail because he thought it would be the right thing to do is to take him out.
I hope not, man. I hope it doesn't get crazy like that.
But that's what I was thinking when Mark Davis was right there at Charger Stadium with that guy. There's a guy right there, and it didn't look like there was enough security. If the drunk Raider guy, thinks he's doing the right move, and I am no way endorsing that. I'm not for any of that. I'm just saying it's getting restless. It's getting restless.
I'm not sure if the beginning of this was darker than the end of this. What was it, like Devontae and the Lions, and you got to kill the babies to mate with
the Cubs, yeah.
Or is it someone going, 187 on Josh because they're mad with the 4th down play call? Good Lord, Gnarly, have you been listening to metal? Is that what it is? Is that why the voice is gone? You've been screaming some Slayer lyrics in your off time?
You know what it is? I looked inside a patch, and it's pitch black, and that's where I took it. Because we are.
Did you see The Exorcist? What happened with you? My goodness.
I spit pea soup across the room, and I knew. All right. Something positive. Let's do something positive. We got to end on a positive note. Positive that Richard Sherman's wrong, and we're not going to get rid of Max Crosby. And if we do, we better get 4 first-round picks and half your cheerleaders. I don't know how that works.
By the way, it just dawned on me. I love when a mistake is so bad, even your teammates are like, dude, really? When Jerry Tillery decleated Justin Herbert well out of bounds, and you see the replays, and Max Crosby immediately puts his hands to the side like, what is he doing? Do you realize how far out of bounds he was? What are you...
And what's Tillery going to say? I mean, the out-of-bounds lines are clearly 3 feet of white. You can totally tell. There's no, like, mistaking it. Like, oh, I was close. He was out. He was actually, I think he was drying his hands off because he'd been out for a while. I was like, what?
Yeah, that was bad.
All right. So the positive is Devontae wants to show off in front of his girl. That's what we got this week.
Hey, listen, that gives me a little bit of hope because he definitely wants to have a good game. He wants to get a win, too. There's no doubt. But he wants to get a win. He wants to look good in front of his old flame, as pretty much anybody with a beating heart would want in a similar situation.
And because of that, the cheese will be melted. That doesn't even make sense. All right. I'm going to try to be positive. I swear I will find something positive. I'm not going to be so dark. I'm going to get out of the black hole, and I'm going to make it's going to be roses and guns. I mean,
I need something positive out of you next week about Josh McDaniels. Just anything.
Okay.
One thing.
That's my goal.
Just
that's
one
my goal.
thing. Okay.
All right. Brian, no. Thank you very much. Thank you
Use
so
your
much.
head.
Use your head. What if that guy would have got up and headbutted him right in the head after that? Anything else? That would have been the worst.
That would have been a pretty funny counter to that comment. Yeah.
I just did what he said.
Yeah.
All right. Brian, no. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you, man.
Good hanging with you, Gnarls.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.